Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio, and I am back today to do another Relax Revisit remake. And today I am going to try and come up with, well, I did come up with, but I am trying to use up these little pieces that come off the Tim Holtz papers. These are from the big 12 by 12 pads, and he always had sheets in the back that have these size little cards. They are 3 inches by 4 inches, and I have a whole stack of them because I could never figure out how I wanted to use them. And so I thought I would revisit that and see if I could come up with an idea to utilize these so they're not just sitting around in my stash. So I have made a prototype, and that is what I am going to work with today. If you do not have these, this would work on any scraps that you have. Just cut them into 3 inches by 4 inches, and yeah, go from there. So let me show you what I made, and then we'll make a couple. So this is what I have made. This is I actually took several of them to make this, and I think it turned out really cute, and I think it would be cute in just really any kind of journal that you're working on. So let's go through what pieces you need, and then we will put a couple together so you can see how I did them. So the first thing that I did was, when you, like I said, they're a whole page of 12, a 12 by 12 page that has these on them. So the first thing that I did is when you see them on a page, and I should have pulled one out so you could see one not cut up. Now these are 2.5 by 7. So I took, hold on, I'll see if I have another sheet. Okay. So this is one of the sheets as a whole. Okay. These aren't the 3 by 4s. These are the 3 by 3s. So you get one of these in the big 12 by 12s too. So what I did is I cut 2 of the 3 by 3s out, and then I cut that down to 2 3/4. Okay, and I left it attached, and I just folded it over, and that's going to be the first pocket. So we'll get that ready, and I'm going to notch it. Just like that, and then I'm going to glue it to make a pocket. So I'm going to glue here and here, and just fold that shut. Alright. So then you're going to need 2 of the 3x4s. You're going to need 1 for this to mount on, like that. And then you're going to need 1 for the journaling card that's to go in the back. And obviously you're going to have to cut it down a little bit so that it will fit in there. So I'm going to do that. And let me look at this one and see what I cut it down to. Sorry, I didn't write down any of my dimensions. 3.5. So I'm going to cut this one down to 3.5. Oops, don't slide on me. And round all the corners, and that's going to be my journaling card to go in the back. Sorry, reaching for my rounder, and I'm using a 1/4 inch on the little crocodile rounder, and just rounding my corners. And then of course I'm going to ink around the edges. And again, if you don't have these pages, just anything in your stash that you have that's coordinating, you can do the exact same thing that I'm doing here. Alright, and then we're going to put a whale tail on here, and you can use whatever kind of tab you want. I'm just going to use the smaller whale tail. Ink it. And then I'm going to stamp the word note on here. And of course you can use whatever stamp you like to say whatever. And I'm going to put one this way, and then I'm going to flip it around and put one this way so that it's visible from both sides. And then depending on what you have on the back, you may want to back that with something that you can write on. And then you're going to glue that on your little journaling card. Top or bottom on the side, but you know what I'm saying, or in the middle, wherever you prefer to have it. So now we have our little journaling card that when you glue it down on the page, you would glue this as a pocket, and then you could slide your journaling card in and out the back of that. I'm going to ink around this. You could choose to round the edges on this piece too. I'm not going to, but that's definitely something that you could do if you wanted. And then we want to glue this pocket onto the front. And we want to glue it on like a pocket so that we have a pocket in the front. And which side do I want? Do I want this side? I think I want that one. So you want to glue this on as a pocket as well. Just like that. And then I'm gonna make 2 little tags. One of them, both of these are pre-made tags. For this one, I'm gonna try to peel this off so that I can put on my little paper tag. And then I'll put one on top. I don't know where I got these little paper tags, but they're handmade paper tags. And I'm just gonna put it on this pre-made tag and trim it, just to give it the pre-made tag a little bit of character. Again, I'm just using up my stash, so you guys use what you have. You don't have to have what I have. And trim around that. If I can cut a straight line. Some days that's a struggle. Okay. So there's that cute little tag. And ink around it and put another whole reinforcer on there. I think using this paper on here like this keeps some, gives the tag some character, but you don't necessarily have to put anything else on it to decorate the tag. Okay, and then for this one, I'm gonna ink it up. So I'm gonna take my walnut stain and go around the edges so they're nice and dark. And again, these are little pre-made tags. I think I got these at like Office Max or Office Depot, whichever one of those is still in business. Quite a while ago. So they come in a pretty big pack, so they last a while. And then I'm going to take a vintage photo and go over the whole thing just to get rid of that white. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my little grocery tag stamps here. In my, where'd it go? Did I put it back up? No. Oh, here it is. Potting soil. And I'm going to stamp it just to give it something with that little 1/2. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We want it to look not perfect. And then I'm going to shorten this a little bit because it's too long. So I'm just going to tie another knot closer down and cut it off. And then I'm going to take a piece of my twine here. It's almost gone. And putting this other one. And tie a knot, if I can get it somewhat even. And then those, you can put one in the front pocket, like that, and one in the back pocket, like that. And then you've got your journaling card to go behind. And actually, I'm going to reverse those. I'm going to put that one at the bottom, this one more toward the top, so you can see the note better on the shorter one, if the shorter one's at the top. Okay, and then we're going to decorate this pocket, and for that, I've got one of Louisa's labels that she made from the labels that were on her super cool cabinet that she got for storing her ephemera. And they're available, these labels are available on her Etsy. And you get quite a few of them. And then we're going to take our little slide, and these slides are from Nick the Booksmith. Again, something I had in my stash that I got, and I put them together a long time ago, and I still had a few in my stash. So when you buy this, you get the frames that you can cut out to be double-sided, and you get these images which she suggests that you print out on vellum, and that gives you the, you know, slide look to it. And just be sure when you get your vellum that it is suitable for whatever kind of printer that you have. For example, I have a inkjet printer, not a laser jet, so I had to be sure and find vellum that was good on an inkjet. And then I just have these little paper clips or clothespins, but you can use whatever you want. I just had the vision of when somebody used to work in developing their own film, you know, of them hanging on the wire after they were black room. Is that what it's called, black room? But them hanging on the string or the wire with paper clips, you know, as they were waiting for their prints to dry. So that's why I thought it'd be cute with a little clothespin, but you can use a paper clip or a mini clip, or you can glue it down. I just wanted it to be more interactive so you could actually take it off and lift it up to the light and see that it really was like a slide. So, that is it. And that gives you a cute little make to, like I said, depending on what papers you use. You could use them in whatever kind of journal that you wanted. And for sure, you know, if you're using Tim Holtz papers or whatever, all his papers go really well together. So you could do that. And then I'll just keep them clipped together like that until I get them ready to go in the journal, and they'll be good to go. So let's do one more, and just so I'm clear on my instructions in case you do want to craft along, or I want to be able to speak today is what I want. So that you can be sure and follow what I'm doing. Phew, that was a struggle. Alright, so for this one, I have this particular little slide is a man and his dog. Isn't it cute? And so I kind of went with some green colored papers to match the frame, and also to kind of coordinate with everything else that I'd picked out. So again, we're going to put the little notch for the top pocket, ink around it. And you can see you can mass make these very easily, especially if you're using those cards, because you just cut them apart and, you know, fold them and you're good to go. Stack them up. And it would go fairly quickly. So I hope everyone is doing well. You can kind of watch my process as we do a little chit chat. It's very warm here today. It's like 86. So good day to be inside. My husband's outside mowing. He's probably going to come in with a sunburned neck, because I'm sure he did not apply sunscreen, because he always forgets. But he may have done. He also has like a neck wrap kind of thing that he wears when he mows. So he could have grabbed that. It takes him about 2.5 hours to mow our property. So it's not a quick thing by any means. And that's on a fairly big lawn tractor. So hopefully he doesn't come in too burned up. I spent many years baking myself in the sun because I grew up at the beach, as I'm sure most of you that have followed me for a while know. So I tried to avoid the sun at all costs now. Now that I'm old, my skin doesn't like it near as much as it used to. It used to look like a little brown bean running around all the time. Now I think I would look like a wrinkled up old prune. Okay, again, this is the one I trimmed to 3.5. It's going to be our journaling cards. I need to make my little tab here. And obviously, I'm doing kind of the same process for this with my thinking being there would only be one of these in a journal. If you wanted to make several for one journal, say one for each signature or something like that, you'd probably want to change your stamps up a little bit, or, you know, make them vary and not be the same for all of them. You could also, you know, vary what you're sticking in. Instead of sticking in tags, you could do a journaling card here and a journaling card in the back as well. If you don't have the slides, or you don't have a slide die or anything like that, you could use a ticket, hang a ticket on the front, or you know, just a little, one of the smaller Tim Holtz photo booth pictures would be cute. Just whatever you prefer. I'm just trying to show an option for using up these little things. Okay, so there's my journal card. Now we'll do the little tags here. Peel that off. Did I put a... Yeah, I did. I peeled that off, and then I got the feeling that I didn't put a reinforcer back on that one, but I did. And I'm just using glue stick to glue this paper on there because I think it's more than sufficient to cover these tags. But if you wanted to make sure they weren't going to go anywhere, you could use Mod Podge or Magic Oil Medium or something like that. I just like using glue stick because it keeps the paper soft. And part of the cool thing about handmade paper, in my opinion, is the texture and how it feels. So that's why I prefer to use the glue stick. I'm just kind of trimming off the white edges, getting them close enough to my eyeballs so I can see it. Okay, and then where's my, here they are, put the reinforcer on there. And then we'll do our little plain tag, and we'll have another one done. me another piece of string. To put on this one. And you could sew around these too if your thing is sewing. They would look really cute stitched. Like I said, you know, my ideas are suggestions, not have-tos. So you are welcome to do it just like I do it, or take what I've done and run with your own idea. Either way, the idea is just to show you an option and for me to get rid of some of the stash that I have. Oh, that string is sticking to my fingers. Okay. And you could stamp these, like I said, with anything. Or you could put a little embellishment on them if you wanted to. Like a little flower or butterfly or, you know, whatever kind of theme you're working on. Anything would work. You could put it in there. Oh, one thing I didn't do on that other one is stamp on the paper. See, that one got some extra grunge on it because it had, I laid it on my glue book and my glue book had glue on it. So that just made it a little more grungy. Alright, I'll get my stamp here. Okay. And then that one will go in that front pocket. Just like that. And then we can put our little man with his puppy dog on here. So this one you could see could go in a puppy journal, a dog journal, or it could go in really just any kind. It's generic enough. It could go in a gentleman's journal. You know, whatever kind of theme you got going on. All right, what I didn't do on these that I did on the prototype is I did a script stamp. So I'm going to do that a little bit. Just like that. So it just gives it a little something something. There we go. And I've got one more, but like I said, I'm not going to go through another one because it would be exactly the same. But I will make it off camera, and then that will take care of the 4 slides that I had in my stash. And it will also take care of several of these little things. But you can see I still have a lot. And not to mention all the ones that I don't have cut up. These are just the ones that I had cut up. So, yeah. That's today's make. And if you didn't make them with me during the video, I hope that you try it out with your stash and your scraps that you have left over. And if you do try it, let me know what you think and how it worked out for you. And like I said, if you didn't want to use these and you wanted to use like a mini paper clip, which I have somewhere, grab my tin. Like if you wanted to use one of the mini paper clips, it would look like this. I can get it clipped on there. And right now I have it holding that journal card in the back as well, just so I don't lose it. But obviously you wouldn't do that. So you could clip it on like that, which makes it a lot flatter than this. Or you could use one of the little mini clips, like this. And again, it's probably not as bulky as the clothespin. So there's 3 options right there that you could use to clip that on. And if you didn't want to do any of that, like I said, you could just glue it down. Especially if you don't have a piece that's using the transparency and you're just using, you know, a photo or something like that, then obviously you could just glue it down. But like I said, I wanted to make mine interactive, so if you wanted to take that off and, you know, hold it up to light and see the slide, you could. So that's it. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you guys back for I saw it on Pinterest on, what is today? Today Wednesday? Tuesday? On Thursday. Whatever day it is today, I'll be back on Thursday for, I saw it on Pinterest. So I hope you'll be back then. And until then, everybody have a great week. And I'll see you soon. Bye.